Basically, I'm the day shift supervisor for the police department here. My functions are pretty much the probably the easy part. I just kind of patrol around all day and check on my officers, answer questions they may have, make sure that things on day shift are just running smooth and going along with policy. It's different from your average police department here in that the majority of our dealings are with tourists from not just all over the country, but from all over the world. We get international tourists here from pretty much everywhere. So there's a lot of dealing with other cultures, other traditions, and things like that. And we deal with everything from the normal people getting injured from the slip and falls, like trip and fall, to their vehicle being disabled, to just everything that's out there. It's just anything dealing with the tourist trade is gonna be involved here. But then you got to add in that because it's a highway that runs through here, we're getting the travelers that are just traveling through. So you get the same people speeding, motor vehicle accidents, things of that nature. So we get pretty much everything. You have to understand that everybody's an individual, even though it's there is the team concept that it's all one team and it needs to function as a team in order for us to do our job professionally and appropriate. A good leader needs to understand that each one of their officers are individuals. Each one needs something a little bit different or is looking for something a little bit different to get the job done. And a good leader that can hone their people skills and learn how to deal with people and if you give them what they want or need, you're going to get from them what you want and need. And that's what it comes down to. It's not so much leading. Anybody can give orders to people, but that doesn't mean people are going to follow those orders. They need to want to do it. So you as a leader have to find a way to convince the people to do what you need done because they want to do it. And it's just learning the people skills and again reading body language, hearing what they say, not just it's listening to what they say, not just hearing it. You've got to know what that person is saying. And some people need to be guided like a parent would a young child, and some prefer a little more strict discipline or things of that nature. And you just have to understand which is which and when. Sometimes it's when to apply it. I would recommend that they get involved in any type of training they can that involves cultural competency, that will allow them to get exposed to other cultures to help them understand. um, I know a lot of people don't like it, but the military, that's actually a good area. Get rid of all the other garbage that a lot of people perceive with the military. The one thing it does do for you is it exposes you to people from all over the world. And so you tend to learn a lot and about the other cultures. It allows you to become more proficient in dealing with. A lot of the personality traits that are required to be, say, a police supervisor or probably a supervisor in any field, are all pretty much the same. They're pretty close. Integrity is a huge one. You've got to have the ability to make the right decision, and not just when someone's watching you, but making the right call when there's not somebody watching you. So it's important to have integrity. You've got to have good communication skills. It's being able to talk to people on a professional level. Sometimes it means actually talking on a lower level. Sometimes it means being able to talk on a higher level. You have to determine where that person is education wise, culturally, and you may have to bring yourself down a little bit in order not to embarrass or disrespect that person. But at the same time, you may be dealing with people that are CEOs of corporations. So you need to act and accordingly at an even higher level to not only give respect, but to get it back. So as a leader, you really need huge people skills and communication skills. And then like anything else, you need the integrity and the honesty to do this job. A lot of the specialized training that's required, it's changing all the time. I started actual police work 10 years ago. And then it was just starting to shift that departments were really looking for officers that already had some type of college education. And the only reasoning behind that is they found out that college education didn't matter with the officer's physical abilities to do the job. They knew that it didn't matter what their education level was to do the job physically, but they found that the more education they followed up on, they became better at writing reports, Their communication skills again became much better. So there's a lot of, I mean, there's a physical side to it that you have to maintain a certain physicality, and that's mainly for appearance purposes, as well as it's very, depending on where you work, can be very physically demanding. Out here, the temperatures get as high as 120 degrees during the day, and officers may be standing out here directing traffic for 4 or 5 hours in that temperature. So there's a lot of physical aspects to it that so you need to stay in shape and things like that. But the main things are probably just future further education. You need to continue on past the high school level, even if it means the military. Join the military will give you not only access to education, it's going to teach you life skills that you can bring to the job that are really going to enhance you as an officer and allow you to do better, which is going to help you in the long run. The thing that probably motivates me to come to work every day is again, a lot of times I know it sounds kind of hammy, but I really enjoy helping people. And being here, with this being such a huge tourist area, I mean, I have contact, like I said, with people from all over the world, not just the United States. And no matter how minor it is, when you're on vacation, anything that goes wrong is a big deal. So just the ability to interact with people that really think something bad is happening and being able to calm them down and alleviate their fears or their problems, that's what motivates me to come to work. The probably the greatest difficulties in the job again is just dealing with people during bad situations. Unfortunately, we don't get the opportunity a lot of times to deal with people when conditions are good. It's usually we're dealing with them when there's something bad going on. There's either a tragedy in their life or there's some other bad scenario going on. Maybe they've been injured, they're sick, not doing well. So that's probably the biggest difficulties is just seeing people on a daily basis that are in a saddened state of mind or very distraught. The misconceptions about being a police officer are huge because it's played up everywhere. It's we beat everybody. We're just shooting people. That's what we want to do. I have a sister who, when I first became a police officer, the first, and it's because she had no prior knowledge. Her first words were, "I don't understand why you want to be a police officer. Is that what you want to do? Is run around all day beating people up?" That was her. And my first question to her was, "Is have you ever been beat up by a police officer?" She was like, "No." "Do you know anyone who's ever been beat up by a police officer?" "No." "Then why would you say that?" "Well, because on TV, and that's what they show on TV because that's what sells." And part of me understands because that stuff does go on, and I think it's a need for communities to know that it's out there, that bad things are out there, and cops are human beings. They're just like all they are is the same as the person next door, except they've made a decision that they're going to put on a badge and a gun and go to work and quite possibly put their life on the line to help somebody. With that, there's going to be the bad. It happens. As far as pay for police, a lot of it is geographically determined. It's where you work. Depending on where you're at, is going to determine how much you make. Most places, you're not going to get rich being a police officer. It's just not going to happen. But it is. You will be paid well. If you're in more than a couple of years, you're going to be paid well. If for the West Coast and Midwest, I'd have to say probably average starting salaries for police are between 35 and 40,000, which is actually not bad. But you get some of the Southeast departments, a lot smaller, rural areas, and you're probably looking at a starting salary of about 15 to 22,000. All depends on where you're at. So, I mean, you're not going to get rich, but you're going to get paid well enough to definitely do well in the economy where you live. So yeah, my first job was shoveling cow manure at 12 years old, and I was paid $1.75 an hour to do this. Um, and I did that for probably 4 or 5 years and I joined the military, and I think I made $380 every 2 weeks when I was was active duty in the military. So that's where I started. If I could give any advice to the kids at all, would probably be you just remain in school and work hard. I mean, it's so important. You don't have to get A's to succeed in this job field, I'd say, but good grades make a difference. And a lot of times, it's not so much the grades as it is the attitude. Future employers, even schools, one of the things they look at is the attitude of the child, not just the grades. Grades are one thing, but if the kid is a hard worker and that shows, that's what they want. They want people that they know have a good work ethic, that are going to come to work and they're going to try hard to do their job. If anything else, I would tell them that stay in school and just try hard, do your best. You don't have to be the best, you just have to try your best.